This stuff here, Yerushalmi Orlah, in the article Ozville edition, where Mamish the top of Ham and Aleph, Rabbi Yossi Shem Rabbi Yechanan. And in the Vilna, we're on Dav Gimel and Aleph, the ninth line down, Rabbi Yossi Shem Rabbi Yechanan. So we talk about shloshim, talk about roots, and relevant, whether they can change the name of the game in Orla, Mises, and other things. So, where it says, Rabbi Yossi Shem Rabbi Yechanan said, shloshim ein bohem mamish. Shloshim have no significance to them. Okay, so what it means. Rabbi Zira said to Rabbi Yasser, sorry, Beferish Shmatim Rabbi Yechanan. So did you hear this explicitly? Evidently, Rabbi Yasser, Rabbi Yossi, the same person here. Did you hear this explicitly from Rabbi Yechanan? Or Orla Vesa Kamir, are you learning Orla? Vidkaras Cha'ada Milsa Bikurin. And you mentioned you remembered this concept from Bikurin. Mamish. So Rabbi Yossi named Rabbi Yechanan evidently said that Shloshim, which are potter, don't exempt the tree from Orla. And Rabbi Zir asked Rabbi Yossi, did you hear this explicit Rabbi Yechanan? That in terms of Orla Shloshim Mamish, and argues that that which Rabbi Zir said Rabbi Yochanan before, that Shorish HaPotter potter. Or we learning Orla, you remember that by Bikurim, Shloshim Mamish, like it says Yerushalmi Orlah Perek Beis Halacha Yud, that if you say Shloshim are essential for Bikurim, no person can ever bring Bikurim, because Shloshim always go far afield. They go from one person's field to another person's field. So it must be that Bikurim. That was the stipulation which Yeshua made when he distributed Eretz Yisrael, like the Bavli says in Basel Chavzayin base. I'm asking Yeshua Saaretz. But in terms of that's Bikurim. Bikurim but by Orla, Shoresh HaPotter is Paiter, like we said previously. So where did you hear it? By Orla? You were learning Orla, and you mentioned Bikurim. Rabbi Zira said, that would say Shloshim ein ben mamish, b'shish rishu. It says in Mechutz La'aretz, but the Levi Yerushalmi goes here with the Noam Yerushalmi, who says that it should say mitosh lo tosha chaveroi. That we say Shloshim ein mamish in terms of Bikurim is, as we said, that going to be Yeshua. That when it goes from one person's land to the other person's land. But if there is there's shloshim which go from Eretz to the Chutz La'aretz, and since Chutz La'aretz is potter from Bikurim, so Takanas Yeshua doesn't apply there. And there, even by Bikurim, we would say shloshim yesh ben mamish. Actually, the would be shloshim yesh ben mamish, and would exempt from Bikurim. Okay, that kind of like ends the story a little bit abruptly. I'm going to a new issue here. Sipka is kind of potter. When you grafted a branch of a new planting, which is Chayv Orla, in an old tree, which is already past the years of Orla, so then the younger tree is botel, is not nullified, is considered one body with the older tree, and therefore it's potter from Orla. Okay, Sipka, if you joined it up by grafting the younger branch to Liskena to an older tree, it's potter. The Chutz La'aretz potter. Similarly, if you took a branch from Eretz Yisrael and you grafted onto a tree in Chutz La'aretz, you're potter. Lehekdesh. Now, if you took this young graft and grafted onto a tree of Hekdesh, a Hekdesh tree is potter from Orla, but nonetheless, Chayev. It's liable. The young tree is chayiv in Orla. Why? We'll have to see. L'tzad tachton, l'tzad elyon. If you took a young branch and you grafted on one of those trees, which is l'syog, or which is therefore is part from Orla, the graft which you intend to grow for fruit is chayiv in Orla. So tzara tachon, tzara elyon. If it's you have a tree which is half siog, half machal. You graft it onto the half siog part. It's chayiv and orla. Lehekdesh chayiv. Why? Shiroi does the chayiv because since you can be redeem the tree, therefore it's a dormant chayiv orla, not an absolute exemption from chayiv orla. So therefore, the part of the tree which now is made for chulin, we're assuming that they're saying such a thing happens. It can happen. I guess that's the case, that you can graft something onto hekdesh and not be hekdesh. I'm not sure exactly how that works. Perhaps it's not when you actually do redeem it. I don't know. But here it says the presumption is that since you're chayiv, since you royally daiso l'chayiv, that you could redeem it and be mechayiv it. I guess we see so from this Gemara that the nurture, the nutrition, which comes up from the roots of the hekdesh tree, even they go into that graft, they don't make that graft hekdesh. It's very big chiddush, but that's evidently the case. Maybe it's like it's happening. It's like 2 months based on storm. It happens in secret, so therefore it doesn't have an impact. Okay, it's a big chiddush. I don't see the article. The article kind of just glosses it over, takes it over, push it. Okay, so says more further. Similar idea. Since we said you can take a siog and revert it to machol, so since it can change status, also it's like an area der viola. It's like an external imposition of ptur, which can be removed, and therefore the graft, which you did intend for machol, does have the chiyuv of orla attached to it. So now the Gemara kind of shifts gear a little bit more. Rabbi Yossi, the Gemara is asking Rabbi Yossi, who holds our Mishnah, that if you plant the inner part of for Michael, the outer part is Yog, the inner part is Chaim, the outer part is Potter, does he hold like Shin Gamliel, who holds that if you have a tree partially planted Eretz Yisrael, partially Chutz La'aretz, so yesterday, the part that is planted Eretz Yisrael is Chayiv and Ma'aser, the part of Chutz La'aretz is Potter. But according to Rebbe, holds that the nourishment gets mixed up in the tree, therefore the entire tree has a status of Chayiv Ma'aser, at least partial Chayiv Ma'aser. So what about here? We said Chayiv and Orlah would then undermine, according to Rebbe, would undermine Rebbe Yossi's halacha. No, it says, well, I feel he's like Rebbe, even hold like Rebbe, that there is, the nutrition gets mixed up in the tree. Orla tluya l'daito, maisus ein tluya l'daito. Orla, what you plant for syog, is the whole idea, I should say, planting for Orla l'syog is tremendous chiddush, which means that Orla has to do with your das. Ma'aser ain't l'daito. Ma'aser only do with your das. So the Rabbi holds that shwashim or yoinkim semiseh, and das is irrelevant, and therefore, I shouldn't say. Put it this way: Orla has nothing to do with your. Orla is the chiddush. Your das is important. Even go to Rebbe, if you plant an entire tree for syog, it's potter. So therefore, since das intertwines, kind of pun intended, with the growth of the tree, so therefore the concept of das can remain even the nourishment gets mixed up. As opposed to mice with das has nothing to do with it. You can have das from today to tomorrow that your fruit tree is this yog, and it's not this yog, it's still chayv and maisus. Doesn't matter. So therefore, we just go by the botany. And the botany means if the nourishment gets mixed up, the nourishment gets mixed up. Okay, halacha beis. Says the Mishnah, Eishabo Abbasein Le'ol, it's Mato Natua. When our forefathers entered Israel and found a tree planted by the Goyim before they entered Israel, Potter is exempt from Allah. Natu, when they planted the tree, even though they hadn't fully conquered Eretz Yisrael, it's chayev. And the Farshim say that that's true even if a goy planted at that point. Once they came into Eretz Yisrael, even before the full conquest of Eretz Yisrael. Hantel Rabim, some of you plants it's in Rosh Hashanah, but belongs to many people, such as Yerushalmi, Yerushalmi Orlah, and Rabbi Yehuda's Pater, and the Gemara is going to explain Machlekes. Hantel B'Shus Rabim, some of you that's Hantel La Rabim. Hantel B'Shus Rabim, some of you plants in the public domain. Vanochli Shetnata, or non-Jew plants in Eretz Yisrael. Gazlan Shenata, a Gazlan who stole a field and planted a tree in it. But Notab Esfina, some of you plants in a ship in Eretz Yisrael, presumably, although I guess Chutz Eretz Chayv Merla, but for talking about Eretz Yisrael, the Chayiv now. Notab Esfina va'olam be'elam Esfina, which grows on its own in a place which is a civilized place we spoke about previously, and not in the middle of forest where there might be different halacha. The male of Chayv Orlah, all these things are Chayv and Orlah. So it says more unitatem, you should plant. As opposed to where it was planted by the non-Jews before the Jews entered Eretz Yisrael. The Torah's Kohanim says, it says kisavo untatem, when you come you plant. This comes to preclude that which the Goyim planted before the Jews came to Eretz Yisrael. It's part from Orlah. But after the Jews came to Eretz Yisrael, whatever planted by the Goyim is Chayiv and Orlah. That's Levi Yerushalmi. The article adds important prat here, which I don't know why Levi Yerushalmi leaves out. It says, unitatem kol. The I don't see the full pasuk here. So the kol, he says, comes l'rabos netias goyim the chavis barla. Okay, so the kol is the reboy. Okay, so udenu I guess I'll maybe trying to bring down because of this line. It's not relevant. The unitatem is partly to goyim machlo Eretz Yisrael. The kol is what's marbe, those things which are planted by even non-Jews after the Jews entered Israel. Rabbi Yehuda B'Shem Rabbi Abba brings up our point from the last several days. Adam tells us Shoresh Patur, and this is Poter in time, right? Shoresh Patur, which is left over from before Eretz Yisrael was conquered by the Jews. Shoresh Patur is Poter. And that's okay. So this is the evidence for that perspective. Okay, now as we have a new section here. Natu, a quote from the Mishnah, Natu Abishal Kiv Shuchayev. Planted even though they hadn't fully conquered it, it's Chayev. Ukrabi Shmuel. Now, this is as if it says Afilu Rabbi Shmuel, even like Rabbi Shmuel. All the time says Bia. And when you enter Eretz Yisrael, it's after 14 years. Shevesh Kivshu Shevesh Chilku. Right, it's after that. Rabbi Chila b'Shem Rabbi Lez and Rabbi Shmuel b'Chala or Orlah. Chala Orlah are different. Chala because of the drasha we're going to see momentarily, and Orlah because of the drasha of Unitatem, which we just had before, and Unitatem Kol, obviously. Okay, so the V'Tanikein, we also learned by Chala. Beboachem. This is it says beboachem instead of the normal language, which is kisavo eloretz. It says beboachem eloretz. Lefishina kasu mashmo shinu chacham mechiva. Because the pasuk changed the language, chacham changed the chiyuv and said, okay, it's not when you conquer and divide, it's immediately. Rabbi Yonah wanted to ask a question that seems to be a contradiction. Rabbi Shmuel, of course, Mechav Shitas in the Yerushalmi always means a stira. The switch seems to have switched his opinion. Rabbi Shmuel for a contradiction in his opinion. Tamar Omar, hi avaya, hi hakama. This is the same language that the Bavli uses. Zui Shiva, Zui Bia. They can make Zera Shava, even though the words are different. Shiva says one place says a Shava coin, the other place says a Ba coin. It's the same. It's the same principle, and therefore you can make Zer Shava. So he says also here via here kama. This is a similar idea. It says by pigeon behema tmea from hector says kerka koin kain yeh havaya, and by makdish bias it says kish kerdish's beso kashricho so kain yeh. Uh, 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 so the so this like it's learning Torah's Kohanim by behema. You're not paid mi oimed. You also learn by bais ain't paid mi oimed. Even though there's a difference in the language. So by makdish base, so it says here by both. Am I missing something? I must be missing here. Because here it says Kenya Kum. No? By Makdish Bias. Yeah, it's a type of Lev Yerushalmi. He's saying it's from the Marafulda, but the Marafulda obviously has the right gear. So here, that it says that Ken yeah is what it says by when you play the behemoth from Hektish, but by play the Kekdish base, so it says Kashricho so Ken Yokum, not Ken yeah. So we learn even though one lush is yeah and one lush is Yokum, it's the same. So Shava, it's the same concept. And he shvir hinetitza. Similar idea it says by Radak and Zora. Tatzim is milchosam. Shibartim is metzebosam. And we draw a parallel between shavar and notats, and that's the same. Well, I should mention the first clear shava was aim pointing oimed. We learned from what the other. You can't be played based on an estimate. It has to be precise evaluation. And there's a Zara. So the Titza and Shvira are linked together. And either way, even though they're different activities, they're both considered to be valid ways of destroying the Avodah Zarah. He Geula, he Padiyah. And by Pidyon Behema Tmeah, it says, Behema Tmeah Padam Berkecha, and so love, and then it says Lashab Geula. Geula is Pada is talking about anybody redeems. Geula is talking about the Bailim who redeems. Okay, yeah, it's not really Shava so much. It's a similar. There, it's the Higulei Padiyah. They're both redemption, and yet only one has Chumash, the other one doesn't have Chumash. But in any event, Higulei and Padiyah are the same thing. So we say they're both the same. So and one there's Chumash, one there's Chumash. So in any event, so here all of a sudden Boachem Kisavo bothers him. It was all over. He learns that, and this Rabbi Shmuel is probably Shitaso, definitely Shitaso. The Dibur Torah Lashmini Adam, right? The Torah speaks in human language and therefore uses different phrases in a similar fashion. It's like Milim Yodofos. So therefore, we can darshan even to things which are synonyms. So here the question is why. Here you don't say the same thing. Because why here of a sudden you say that the Lashonas are different and therefore there's a different halacha Ba'achem and a different halacha Kisavo, but the Gemara does not answer this question. Okay, we are on top of Vav Amrav, so we'll stop here for today.